Toulouse-Lautrec was the one important latter-day exception to this general tendency. He painted a number of portraits of tarts and cabaret personalities. As we survey them, they survey us. The social reciprocity is established through the painter's mediation. We are presented neither with a disguise, as with official portraiture, nor with mere creatures of the artist's vision. His portraits are the only late 19th century ones which are persuasive and conclusive in the sense that we have defined. They are the only painted portraits in whose social evidence we can believe. They suggest not the artist's studio, but the, quote, world of Toulouse-Lautrec, unquote. That is to say, a specific and complex social milieu. Why was Lautrec such an exception? Because in his eccentric and obverse manner, he believed in the social roles of his sitters. He painted the cabaret performers because he admired their performances. He painted the tarts because he recognized the usefulness of their trade. Increasingly, for over a century, fewer and fewer people in capitalist society have been able to believe in the social value of the social roles offered. This is the second answer to our original question about the decline of the painted portrait. The second answer suggests, however, that given a more confident and coherent society, portrait painting might revive, and this seems unlikely. To understand why, we must consider the third answer. The measures, the scale change of modern life have changed the nature of individual identity. Confronted with another person today, we are aware, through this person, of forces operating in directions which are unimaginable before the turn of which were unimaginable before the turn of the 20th century, and which have only become clear relatively recently. It is hard to define this change briefly. An analogy may help. We hear a lot about the crisis of the modern novel. What this involves, fundamentally, is a change in the mode of narration. It is scarcely any longer possible to tell a straight story sequentially unfolding in time. And this is because we are too aware of what is continually traversing the storyline laterally. That is to say, instead of being aware of a point as an infinitely small part of a straight line, we are aware of it as an infinitely small part of an infinite number of lines, as the center of a star of lines. Such awareness is the result of our constantly having to take into account the simultaneity and extension of events and possibilities. There are many reasons why this should be so. The range of modern means of communication, the scale of modern power, the degree of personal political responsibility that must be accepted for events all over the world, the fact that the world has become indivisible, the unevenness of economic development within that world, the scale of the exploitation. All these play a part. Prophecy now involves a geographical rather than historical projection. It is space, not time, that hides consequences from us. To prophesy today, it is only necessary to know men as they are throughout the whole world in all their inequality. Any contemporary narrative which ignores the urgency of this dimension is incomplete and acquires the oversimplified character of a fable. Something similar but less direct applies to the painted portrait. We can no longer accept that the identity of a man can be adequately established by preserving and fixing what he looks like from a single viewpoint in one place. One might argue that the same limitation applies to the still photograph, But as we have seen, we are not led to expect a photograph to be as conclusive as a painting. Our terms of recognition have changed since the heyday of portrait painting. We may still rely on likeness to identify a person, but no longer to explain or place him. To concentrate upon likeness is to isolate falsely. It is to assume that the outermost surface contains the man or object, whereas we are highly conscious of the fact that nothing can contain itself. There are a few Cubist portraits of about 1911 in which Picasso and Braque were obviously conscious of the same fact. But in these portraits, it is impossible to identify the sitter, and so they cease to be what we call portraits. It seems that the demand of a modern vision are incompatible with the singularity of viewpoint, which is the prerequisite for a static painted likeness. The incompatibility is connected with a more general crisis concerning the meaning of individuality. Individuality can no longer be contained within the terms of manifest personality traits. In a world of transition and revolution, individuality has become a problem of historical and social relations, such as cannot be revealed by the mere characterizations of an already established social stereotype. Every mode of individuality now relates to the whole world.